Welcome back, viewers, and thank you for tuning into my podcast where we talk to some not so common lives and experiences because we believe in them and in their stories. My name is Amit Nikhar, and today I'm talking to one of the teachers who has played an important role in transforming not only mine but thousands of lives. With her 15 years of experience as a yoga teacher and a personal counselor, a friendly mentor, she has guided, refined, and enlightened people with her teachings. From Sukh to Surya namaskar, she will always be my first guru of yoga. I gave you the founder of Saiyog Wellness, my yoga ma'am, Divya Naithani.
Thank you for joining us, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Amit. So nice to see you and have this conversation.
Thank you. I am so glad that you took out time, and I'm so glad that you're back in India.
Oh, yeah.
So, ma'am, I would like to start with a very interesting question that
Sure.
I always wanted to ask you. Is
Yeah,
I remember in one of your interviews you said your actual yoga practice begins when you leave the mat,
that's right.
right? So my question is, how do we involve yoga in our daily life?
That's a very nice question you've started with, Amit, because to be able to involve yourself in yoga and to involve yoga in your own lives, you have to first understand what yoga is.
Mm,
Unfortunately, and I don't blame people for this. To a very large extent, we yoga teachers are responsible for all these misconceptions. Unfortunately, most people understand yoga only as the half an hour or 1 hour practice on the mat, whether it is once a
mm,
week, twice a week, thrice a week.
correct.
Mm. But actually, yoga is how you are living your life. It touches every aspect of your being, it touches every aspect of your life, whether you're talking about the body, how you're thinking, your emotions, how you're dealing with other people. You may be super flexible, but always cranky and
Mm,
having frictions with your family members or your subordinates or your co-workers. What's the point? You might be able to stand on your head and take great pride in I do a super Shirshasana and all that stuff. Or you might
mm,
be doing 200 rounds of Surya Namaskar every single morning.
yes,
But what's the point if you're not leading a happy, healthy life? So, yoga is
correct.
all about creating that balance. And
Mm,
when we start understanding yoga in that sense and we
mm,
start applying these principles to our own lives to lead a happy, healthy life, only
mm,
then can we really say that we're practicing yoga.
mm,
And that's why I genuinely believe that your actual yoga practice begins when you leave the mat, not those half an hour or 45 minutes of those techniques that you're practicing, not just that.
mm, mm,
And at the Yoga Institute, how we approach our practices
mm,
is not just the body, but we work a lot on what we call the bhavas, the
mm,
four bhavas that we talk about. And that is extremely important. And when you start practicing your techniques, keeping the four bhavas in mind, what happens is your body will tell you which aspects of your personalities need more fine tuning.
mm,
So that correlation is going to help you understand yourself better. It will help you understand which aspects you need to work on. What are your real strengths? What are the pitfalls, your weaknesses? What do you need to work on? All these things. So it's not just mechanically moving your arms and legs and doing this or that. It's a lot of uh, involvement in every sense.
correct. Thank you so much. Yes. There are a lot of people who comes to me and ask me this question, Amit, tell me the difference between a bodybuilder and a yogi.
Again, it comes to the personality type.
Yeah.
Bodybuilder, but of course, we are not talking about stereotypes. But
Mm,
generally speaking, a bodybuilder is more focused on the body, and
yes.
there's that angle of why are you building all those muscles? There is always the element of uh, showing.
Hmm.
I want to look a certain way.
Hmm.
Whereas yoga in its true sense is about how you feeling. It's about the
Hmm.
self. So if
Hmm.
I'm feeling good about myself, it beyond a certain point, it doesn't really matter what you or anybody else, what the others are thinking about me or how they are perceiving me.
Hmm.
So that, according to me, is the biggest difference. It's not, I mean, obviously, that's a given that bodybuilders are more focused on the physical aspect and yoga is about everything other than the body also. I mean,
Hmm.
body plus everything else. That's a given. But beyond that, it's about the attitude and the personality type that we become.
Correct. Because, ma'am, I must tell you this because when I started training with you, I became like a fan of you, your teachings, and of course yoga.
Yes,
That's
I
the
remember
subject that
that
I
time,
really.
Amit.
So,
I
and
still
then
remember, I still remember how difficult Bhadrasan used to be for you. Am I right?
it still is.
But you got so much better during the course.
Yes, and I remember you used to say, Amit, you can do all the difficult asanas well, and all the easy ones are why difficult. Why are they difficult for you? And I'm like, ma'am, I have no idea. So, so yeah. So when I was talking about, I went to bodybuilding. Then I wanted to build muscles, and like you said, physical aspect because I wanted to get into modeling and do a little bit of acting.
Yeah.
And then I got back to when I lost weight. Then you don't go to the gym, you lose weight, you have protein shake, and then you come back, and then again I go back to yoga, and then again I go back to bodybuilding, and now finally I got so frustrated with the switch. And people
Hmm.
actually ended up. There's this one of my friends who ended up telling me, yeah, that Amit, what is wrong with you? Sometimes तू कभी body बना लेता है, कभी तू पतला हो जाता है, कभी body बनाता है, कभी पतला हो जाता है. And that's when it hit me that Amit, what do you want? Do you want to be physically and mentally fit together, or do you want to only focus on your physical aspect? And like you said, it is very important for us to decide certain things that you need. And
Yeah.
now I'm sticking to yoga.
वाह क्या बात है वाह वाह जस्ट अ लिटिल सजेशन जब कोई बोले ना कि व्हाट इज दिस कभी बॉडी बढ़ जाती है घट जाती है व्हाट एग्जैक्टली आर यू डूइंग यू कैन टेल देम आई एम लाइक द मून चांद की तरह घटते बढ़ते रहता हूँ
Oh, you've been a part of Terence Lewis Dance Academy for very, very long time now, and you've
That's
trained so many dancers like me, and you're still training. So I must ask you this question: Is what made you choose yoga and counseling as a career?
honestly I think they chose me. Not many people know about it, apart from family and very close friends. So I wanted to be a doctor when I was a little child.
Hmm.
And my mom was also very enthused about it. Yeah, you should become a doctor.
Hmm.
But then somehow I couldn't make it to any medical college.
Hmm.
Uh, and I then went in for my graduation in botany and biochemistry.
Hmm.
And after during my last year uh, of graduation, I'm talking about early 90s. So that's when computers were becoming big in India.
Hmm.
And for our project, we had to prepare some graphs and all on
Hmm.
computers. And
Hmm.
that was my first exposure to what all can be done on computers back in those days. And I was so amazed. And I was like, wow, this is so beautiful. And you know how you feel as a teenager, ki wow, sky is the limit and all that stuff.
Yes.
And then after my graduation, I thought this is where I would like to go. So I
Hmm.
joined a course in my college itself. I was studying at Xavier's and Xavier's Institute of Communication within the same compound
Hmm.
was offering this course in graphics and animation. So I
Okay.
joined that course, and just while I was completing the course, I got an offer for taking up a job with one of the studios. I joined there. I started working super enthused about wow, I'm in the advertising world and sky is the limit and you can do anything, all those thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like they always joke that advertising is an industry where your deadline is yesterday. Everything was needed yesterday. So
Mm-hmm.
working with those kinds of pressures and deadlines and late nights, sometimes not sleeping at night at all, and erratic eating hours. Sometimes we used to have our what we brought from home for lunch. We used to eat that at 7 in the evening. So you can't call it we used to have lunch at 7 in the evening. We used to eat that food at 7 in the evening. So all these erratic eating hours and no attention to looking after your body, no proper rest, all this stuff. By the time I was 19, I developed migraine. And by the time I was 21, I got cervical spondylosis. And
Mm.
one of my sisters was very close to Hansaji, the director of the
Okay.
Yoga Institute. But as a personality type, if you were to describe me what I was back then, I was highly irritable, very, very angry all the time,
Mm.
snapping at everyone, and
Mm.
not at peace with anyone because I was not at peace with myself. So
Yes.
all these things were very, very sensitive. Thoda sa, if
Mm.
somebody says that I don't like, I'd start crying and all that kind of.
Mm.
I mean, I laugh at what I used to be back then. I can't believe it was really me. So my sister used to tell me that there's this place at Santa Cruz where I should go and it will help
Mhm.
me. And she used to give me such interesting stories about, this one went there and she got so much better. That one went and this disease was taken care of. And beyond a point, you guys are lucky that
Yeah.
you did not grow up with this idea of yogas for boring old people. Nowadays, it's
Uh,
even getting better with school mein, yoga being compulsory in school. So all that is fine. We grew up at a time when we thought yoga was for retired people. Like when you have
correct.
nothing else to do, you sit in the park and do laughter yoga. Ha 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 ha. Like like for 5 years, for good 5 years, you won't believe I was dodging my sister. That if I
Mm.
saw her coming from there, I knew she'll start the same topic, so I was run away from there. And I remember in 2001, exactly around this time, end of the month in June, is when I
Mm.
first went to the Yoga Institute just to please my sister that, okay, theek hai yaar, karke dekhte hain. So I landed up there, and as luck would have it, that month, in the month of July, this test was for the batch in July. So the batch was already full,
Mm.
and I couldn't have joined in July, and I was happily leaving. That
Mm.
okay, what to do? नहीं है, no vacancy है, अभी बाद में देखेंगे, that kind of attitude. And on my way out, I always tell her, Mrs. Desai, who's the dean at the Yoga Institute, Armaiti Desai. So fortunately for me, she was at the desk when I was
Okay.
leaving. So she asked me,
Okay.
so you finished? You got your admission? This, that, I said, no, I wanted to join the 7-day camp and there's no vacancy, so I can't get it. So I'll come some other time. Now I know, now that I know her so well, I know that she is not the one who will leave any potential yoga student.
Mm.
So she said, you wanted to join the 7-day, it's full. Why don't you join any other course? So I said, no, I'll come back later for 7 days. She said, what is your time schedule? This, that, ye, wo. So I tried wriggling out of the situation. I gave all kinds of vague answers and all. And somehow she pataued me for a 1 month program. I said 7 days living there, so better a few hours a day, 5 days a week, finish it off. I didn't even
Yes.
care to ask, इतनी देर क्या सिखाओगे? So I was happy. Okay, I said, okay, ठीक है, this is fine. I'll do this 1 month program. And I remember it was a Saturday. They told us to come back the following Monday, not the immediate Monday, July, first Monday of July. I remember it was 3rd of July that I went there. I paid the fees, everything. I went to the classroom that they said, and I went there and I sat down, and then everybody came and settled down, and then walks in this simple, short little gentleman, little elderly, who I thought would have been in his late 50s or early 60s. He came and introduced himself as Prabhakar Shirpurkar, and he said he's the coordinator of the 1 month program. And then he welcomed all of us to the teachers training course. And I'm like, no, are you for real? No, I kept quiet for a while till he finished speaking. And then I quietly went to him. I said, Sir, I think there's some problem. I didn't really enroll for the teachers training course. So he checked. He's like, "What did you actually enroll for?" So I said, "No, I mean, I joined the 1 month program, but I don't want to become a teacher, and I'm not interested in teaching." Acha, I forgot to tell you one interesting thing. I come from a family of teachers.
Yes.
So as a rebel, I never wanted to be a teacher. I used to, I used to say, मैं जूते पॉलिश करूंगी, एक टीचर तो नहीं बनूंगी और कुछ भी करूंगी. I'll sit at the station and polish shoes. I'll do anything, कुछ भी. But I don't want to become a teacher. So I went up to him. I was like, "Sir, I don't want to become a teacher." He heard me out very patiently, and then he said, "See, just because you do this course doesn't mean you have to start teaching." And I'm like,
Hmm.
"Yeah, I never thought of that." So he said, "You learn all this, you apply this to your lives, and you don't have to teach." Like,
Yeah.
that sounds fair enough. Okay, ठीक है, कर लेते हैं. And I remember the whole month, any time I met anyone, any introduction, any hi, hello, and I used to be like, "Hi, so I'm Divya Naithani, and I'm not doing this course to become a teacher." It's so stupid of me to have talked like this, but this is what I I remember very well that till about 6.5 months, come what may, I was very sincere with all my practices. I used to do all the what people normally think is yoga on the mat. Every single morning,
Hmm.
I used to take out time and practice. But like I said, that was hardly anything. Physically, I was fine, but interpersonal, emotional, all those hassles were still there. And then slowly over the years, as I mean, after I finished that course, I went back to my professional life. I was doing other things in life, and then I said that in 2004, I remember, I finally decided that nahi, somehow there is still more that I need to learn. Now, what happened is the 7 day course is a prerequisite for doing the teacher's training, full length 7 months teacher's training course. So, a lot of people were doing that 7 day program because they were joining the teacher's training course after that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So a lot of my batchmates, one of them, he's a very dear friend of mine even now. So he was joining after this. So I every Sunday I went, I used to see how they are doing such great stuff and such amazing assignments. And then I started feeling I'm missing out on something.
Hmm.
So this was in, sorry, 2003. Then
Hmm.
2004, I finally quit my job and I did the 7 day again and I joined the 7 months program. But still, I was like, I don't want to teach. I'm
Hmm.
only doing this because I want to understand, I want to learn, I want to apply in my life and all that stuff.
Okay.
And in November 2004, I remember Mrs. Desai, and now I know she does this with everyone, that smart lady. She put out me to conduct a camp. Yeah, she told me, "Oh, I have nobody helps me ever, and I have so much work to do, and whom do I delegate it to? And nobody cares to help her." I was like, "I will help you, Mrs. Desai. You tell me what to do." And she said, "There's this camp with Nanlaun." She speaks, and being a Parsi, she speaks that cute Gujarati. She said, "Nanlaun camp છે ને મારી પાસે teacher પણ નથી," and all that stuff. So 9 to 12, age 9 to 12, there was this 2 day camp of 55 children. And she said, "You don't worry, you have enough people to support you, but be the
Hmm.
main teacher." So I said, "Okay." And I remember that's the first time ever I experienced what it feels like to teach. And I was like, what an idiot I've been all these years. I enjoyed myself so much. So that's how I accidentally landed up in teaching. Again, now, we grew up at a time where if you're going to a counselor, forget psychiatrist तो बहुत दूर की बात है. Psychiatrist तो मतलब you are straight from पागलखाना. Like, oh
Hmm.
God, so and so has to go to psychiatrist. But even going to a counselor was something like, oh, something's wrong with her. Counseling is a compulsory subject in the teacher's training course at Yoga Institute. You'll be surprised to know.
Okay. Oh.
And the teacher who was teaching there, Dr. Satish Kumar Chandra, he was the head of the psychology department at the university, Mumbai University.
Hmm.
So somehow he told me right in the beginning of the course, it says that you will make a good counselor. Now, I had no clue why he said that or whatever. But as the course was ending, he told me that I should go and do this little certificate course. And
Hmm.
fortunately, my course was ending in December last week, and
Hmm.
the course in counseling, the next batch was starting in the first week of Jan. So he
Oh,
said, go
perfect.
try. And that's how I joined that course. And I realized it's so much fun. And then I started practicing. And I realized over the years, I realized that in combination, yoga and counseling, they really work very, very well. It's like an exponential growth in your results when you combine both techniques.
For my viewers also, if you guys really want to go ahead and do something in yoga and want to go ahead and help people, you must. I think what I've learned here is you must practice it yourself, learn, and then
Absolutely.
go ahead and impart. But at the same time, get certified only when you feel like it and go to Divya Naithani. Because I think she is someone I really adore personally as a teacher, but also I believe
Thank you.
in certain concepts that she has. So go ahead and of course contact. I'll give you all the details later.
Yeah, yeah,
So
sure.
okay, so ma'am, moving on to the next question that I have
Yeah,
is, and this is again very very personal, related to you again.
okay.
Who is more fun to train, children, adults, or elderly?
Anyone who's interested in what you're about to teach is fun to teach. People often are afraid of dealing with students who ask many questions. I find it amazing, like really bring it on. I remember there was this student at Terence's Academy. The questions he used to come up with, other people used to laugh at him that you jabardasti take out such questions, you want to impress ma'am and things like that. But I used to be like, no, you can't come up with these questions unless you've already imbibed what was spoken.
Correct, correct.
So that is that. Teaching children, adults, elderly, working professionals, people with health problems, all categories are there. Uh, and how you teach them, the methodology will vary from group to group
Correct.
because their requirement is different and so on and so forth.
So, what is the most common issue that people come up with when you are in your counseling sessions? Like, be it elderly or
Mm,
even teenagers or youngsters. Um,
mm.
if you have to just pick one issue, which is very common.
Nobody understands me. People feel that I'm not being understood. This is
Oh
the
yes,
problem they face.
yes, yes.
Interpersonal hassles. Whether it is youngsters talking about my parents,
Hmm,
having frictions with their parents, or boyfriend, girlfriend,
hmm,
spouse.
hmm.
Um, when I speak to working professionals, they complaining about their children.
Yes, yes.
So it's always about this miscommunication that people are most unhappy about. If I have to
Hmm.
choose one thing across all age groups, it is this.
Death is inevitable, and yoga is the way of life. Can yoga save life?
So I'll expand a little about what Hansaji says about death. So
Please.
I remember in one of her talks, she just picked up the mic and she said, "देखो मरना तो है ही, मरना तो है ही.
Correct.
Everybody is going to die. The only thing guaranteed in this life is death.
हाँ,
मरना तो है ही. And सवाल ये है कि आप जी कैसे रहे.
हाँ.
So it's about that quality of life.
Yes,
You know? Nobody
yes.
knows the quantity.
Hmm.
Correct?
Nobody.
Nobody knows how many years we are going to live. An
Hmm.
astrologer might tell you something, whatever, whatever, but we can never be sure. The only thing we are sure of is we are going to die.
Yes,
But yoga will definitely get you a better quality of life.
yes.
And when I say better quality of life, I mean, now, for example, I mentioned that this is my fourth occupation. I've already quit 3 industries. Other people feel that I must be feeling like, oh, सब कहाँ पहुंच गए मैं कहाँ रह गई
Hmm.
and oh I don't as a yoga teacher I don't earn enough and how
Hmm.
others are doing so well and all that stuff. So there are many people often especially friends ke parents when they meet you after
हाँ.
a long time. So I remember this friend of mine, her mom asked me like, don't you feel like you're left out in life? And I was so amazed at that question itself because I found it really hilarious. That was the first time, honestly, I found it hilarious. Now I know a lot of people think like that. It's just that she asked. So, so the interesting part is that, yeah, I might not be earning as much, but I don't have such expenses either.
Correct.
I'm
Correct.
very happy and satisfied with very little. I don't have too many demands. Yeah,
Yes.
so one of my favorite quotes is richness is not when you earn more, save more, or have more. Richness is when you need no more.
Mm.
So
And
all
you
these
are rich.
beautiful, super rich. I hardly have any needs in life. Hardly any. So so in that sense, I feel very happy and content, and that's why I'm saying that yoga will give you that quality of life where you are in harmony with yourself, with
Mm.
others around. And I always say this to my students also. It's okay if people don't notice your presence, but your
Mm.
absence must be felt.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's a very nice feeling when people tell you that they would like you to be with them. I mean, not that
Mm.
I'm doing it because of that, but instead of people thinking ye kab jayegi, it's better that
Mm.
they feel, oh, I would like to spend more
ये कब
time with her.
आएगी?
Yeah. So, in that sense, I feel I'm very sorted. And like I always talk about, there's this Sanskrit saying, one of my favorites. I always give that as an example in my classes also. कि Pratyaksham kim pramanam. Pratyaksha, what you can experience pratyaksha directly,
Mm.
doesn't need praman, proof.
Mm.
So these are lessons, these are experiences I have directly had.
Mm.
I don't need any further validation or proof for these. So when they say yoga gives you a better quality of life, yes, I can vouch for that. Even if yoga is not saving your life, of course, in many cases it does, as
It
far
does.
as health problems and everything is concerned. Even if it is not saving your life, it is definitely making your life more worth living. Definitely.
Mm.
There's no doubt
That I
about it.
can also watch for. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
I must thank you a lot, ma'am. It was
Thank you so
wonderful
much,
talking to
Amit.
you.
Nobody has talked to me about these topics, so it was fun. In class, if students ever ask me, no, no, ma'am, we want to know about your personal experience. No, no, ma'am, tell us. I tell them you're trying to just waste class ka time, like, you know. That's why I always just brush it off by saying, my life has nothing to do with your syllabus. Let's just get back to the syllabus. But
That's
yeah, this was
awesome.
nice conversation. This was a nice way to revisit my life. Yeah.
Yes. Now, everyone has a story to tell, and your story is very, very important to be heard by everyone. So, thank you so much for that.
Thank you so much, Amit. All the best to you.